Can you talk about what's happening at this point, the mass protests, then word there was an agreement between the Prime Minister and the protesters, and then word that that agreement broke down? Why are people still in the streets?
Well, there is a misunderstanding about that. There hasn't been actually an agreement with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said that we should immediately evacuate the park and that he will wait for the court decision, which is actually not a concession, but a normal thing. I mean, he has to wait for the court decision. He cannot override the court. But there were four other demands that the protesters have done, and he didn't take any of them seriously. And at some point in the meeting, he left the room. So there wasn't really an agreement. But on our side, we were thinking of leaving the park anyway and just leave a symbolic tent just to show our good intentions. But still, before we could make a final decision on that, there was the police attack. So there was still a disagreement, and there wasn't any kind of concession made by the Prime Minister. But we were planning, as the Taksim Solidarity Platform was actually proposing to leave the park and to just leave a symbolic tent. And that's when the police raid started.
And Nazan, can you say, you referred to 4 other demands that the protesters made, which the Prime Minister disregarded. Could you explain what those 4 demands were?
Sure, to stop the police violence and particularly the use of the gas, of the tear gas and all those kinds of different kinds of chemical gases, because there are different versions of that. The other one was the release of those who have been taken under custody, but actually after that 400 more people have been taken under custody, and 100 of them were taken out of their homes with a morning raid. So it wasn't even during the actions that they were taken into custody. So those were the 2 demands. Then the third demand was that the Prime Minister, not the Prime Minister, sorry about that, that the governor and the police chief of Istanbul resign or be held accountable for what they have done. They have actually 4 people have died, and not only 4 people have died, 8,000 people have been wounded, and 59 of them are still in serious conditions. Over 15 people have lost their eyes. So we wanted them to be held accountable. And the 4th demand was that the government takes back its proposal to destroy Gezi Park.
Nazan, this is Prime Minister Erdogan speaking Tuesday. He described the protesters as invaders.
Bir hukuk devletinde yapılması gereken neyse biz de onu yaptık.
We did what we had to in a state of law. We have cleared out Taksim Square and Gezi Park from these invaders. You know, they've destroyed everything. We're planting trees and flowers again.
That was Prime Minister Erdogan. Nazan, if your final comment on what the Prime Minister said and what is happening today.
Well, what's happening today is people are finding new ways to protest. As you have mentioned, we have the Standing Man, but that's not the only thing. We have now started to go to other parks in Istanbul instead of in Gezi Park. Now we have distributed, our group has, there are thousands and thousands of people attending every day after their jobs, all the public parks, and we are coming together, discussing what we are going to do next, how we are going to organize, how we are going to voice our democratic demands, because what the Prime Minister says is again a lie. We have the democrat in Turkey, our right to freely associate and to freely express ourselves is constitutional. So he's lying. What he does is actually unlawful. And we are trying to come together and make the world hear our voice, organize ourselves even stronger, and continue our resistance to this.